I hate being Mr. Debbie Downer, Mr. Eeyore, looking at negative so much, but I will admit I'm growing more and more concerned. Every day, it seems as if we're getting more good news. Today we had, of course, Kamala Harris had to preside over the confirmation of the Electoral College vote. That was great. Good stuff there. Nothing to see. No theatrics. Not much theatrics. No nothing crazy happened there. She gavelled out and everybody went home, I guess. So that was positive. We now a step closer to having President Trump back in the Oval Office. We had some other good news. Dana White apparently has been asked to join the board of Meta. That's the Facebook parent company, and we've known that Mark Zuckerberg is a big fan of MMA, but having Dana White, a known Trump supporter, a known conservative / libertarian, joining Meta, and that's the second one, by the way, the second quote unquote conservative. The first one was a Bush Republican, so I don't know if you want to really call him a conservative, but it seems they're changing things over at Facebook, and everybody's excited, and you see all of these various companies, and not just the companies themselves, but the individuals. For example, Apple, Tim Cook of Apple, donating $1 million to the inauguration fund. You're seeing all of these woke companies donating to the inauguration fund. And you're seeing all this good news happening, but I have to throw this out there. Why? After the 2016 victory, going into 2017, all we saw was opposition. We had rioting on Inauguration Day. We had, which of course, very little was done about that. Go figure. We had companies, mostly conservative companies, or at least neutral companies, coming out and benefiting. But we didn't see any of the woke companies embracing Donald Trump, embracing patriotism and conservative values or anything like that. Today, we're learning more. I think McDonald's comes out basically against the corporate version of DEI, technically the corporate version of ESG. Okay, I mean it seems as if everybody's falling in line. I was expecting there to be riots very similar to the Summer of Love, the Summer of George Floyd. After Trump won, we didn't see it. All of this has me concerned because I know they haven't changed. I know it's not like, I think we want to, because we are generally positive people on the political and cultural and evangelical right. We want to be like, I guess they're understanding, they're testing the winds, and they're seeing that the winds of change are coming, and everybody's going in the right direction now, and they want to hop on board the Trump train or the progress train or whatever you want to call it. They just want to make America great again. They see it's going to happen. They don't want to be left behind. I mean, we can come up with whatever excuses we want, but to see it happening relatively universally tells me that there's something strange afoot. It has my alarm bells ringing in my head. Why are so many people kissing the ring? You got Justin Trudeau stepping down. You have all of these leftists, these radicals, apparently falling in line. And that's not what they generally do. Never has been. And you could say, but they saw the mandate. Folks, a mandate means nothing to these people. You have to remember who we're dealing with. When we're dealing with members of the globalist elite cabal, they do not serve, they do not change, they do not serve anybody other than themselves and the globalist elite cabal and Satan. That's it. So don't tell me that Mark Zuckerberg is all of a sudden changing his ways. The dude spent $400 million to defeat Donald Trump in 2020. You think all of a sudden he's going to donate like $1 million to the inauguration fund and bring in Dana White, a friend of Donald Trump, and next thing you know, Facebook's going to be like at least neutral, if not even a conservative haven? No. There's something afoot. Something foul afoot. And I don't know what it is. So I know earlier I already asked y'all for help to help me find who are the best conspiracy theory content creators. I really want to know, and I want you to reach out. Now I've got a second question for you. We're really getting feedback from you, and I want to know about the conspiracy. Where do I find good conspiracy theory content to be able to talk about it here on the show? And then the second question is, what is going on with all of these wokesters like Mark Zuckerberg, Tim Cook, Jeff Bezos? I mean, they're not just all trying to be like Elon Musk. So what is going on? Why is Dana White being offered a role on Meta's board? Why is any of this happening? Why has there not been rioting? What do the globalist elite cabal members have planned? Because remember, at least my belief from a biblical perspective is that they represent what is spoken of in Ephesians 6:12, the powers and principalities of the modern day. So if they're out there, they've got a plan, and we're not seeing it. We're seeing the opposite of what one would consider to be a plan. That leads me to only one of two conclusions. Conclusion number one is that Donald Trump is actually a bad guy, and I'm not going to believe that until I see it. Conclusion number two is that they have some sinister, longer-term play. They're not just out there paying rioters to go burn down small towns in Wisconsin or Minnesota. They have something bigger planned, and I don't know when that bigger is going to be unleashed. So think of it like this. It's sort of like it reminds me of those scenarios where you know the bad guy knows they're being watched, right? So they conspicuously do things that are not illegal. I think it was it Breaking Bad? Yeah, Breaking Bad, where Walter White goes in and tells Gus, hey, I didn't want you to know I didn't plant the bug on your car, the tracking device on your car, and Gus is like, do it. He wants to be seen proactively doing nothing wrong, and I get the same feeling from Mark Zuckerberg. I get the same feeling from Tim Cook and Jeff Bezos. I get the same feeling from even people like George Soros or Alex Soros, his son, who are conspicuously, other than accepting awards and taking selfies, they're conspicuously absent from the conversation. Why? Where's Barack Obama been? I mean, I know that they lost, and I know that what the excuse here is that, they took a big loss and they're still licking their wounds. Okay, maybe. I'm not buying it. Again, they also don't seem like wound lickers either. So what is it? I go back to, what was it? Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country, the sixth movie, where the Klingons are dying. They're in desperate need, and Spock's talking to Kirk, and he says, they're what do we do? And he says, Kirk says, they're Klingons. Don't believe them. Don't trust them. And Spock says, they're dying, Jim. And Kirk says, let them die. I would much rather see that. I don't want to see Mark, and not die. I'm not calling Mark. I hope Mark Zuckerberg dies before anybody starts reporting me to the FBI or anything like that. Figuratively, I wish that they would just say, hey, you know what? We're still gonna fight. We're gonna be part of the resistance. Or they run off, to wherever, Switzerland. What I don't want to see is them cozying up to patriots, cozying up to conservatives, cozying up to the administration. I don't want to see that at all. Concerns me. You're letting the snakes in, and I hope and pray that President Trump and his team recognize this and they keep everybody at arm's distance, arm's length. Don't let anybody in unless they are bona fide, pure, make America great again people, and always have been. Okay, I can accept if somebody is, we'll say a 5-year convert. Okay, let's say they in 2020 they decided that they were going to support President Trump. Let's go back further. Let's go to 6 years. Okay, 2019 is the cutoff. Anybody who started supporting Trump after 2019, Nope, not. Don't let them in. Can't trust them. Can't trust them. I know there's a lot of people like Glenn Beck, for example, Mark Levin, people that were opposed to Donald Trump in 2016, maybe even into 2017. But by 2018 and 2019, they were on board. They saw what Trump could do. They saw what MAGA could do. And they realized that it was the uniparty swamp that was far more dangerous than Trump's mean words. And they hopped on the train. Glenn Beck went through a lot of humiliation to then re-earn his invite to Mar-a-Lago. But he did it. And he's been doing it for the last 5, 6, 7 years. He's acceptable. People like Mark Zuckerberg, who paid hundreds of millions of dollars to oppose Trump, doesn't get a pass because he tossed $1 million at the inauguration fund, or because he let Dana White on the board. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what the plan is, but I am far more concerned about them because they're trying to cozy up than I would be if they were ranting and raving and rioting and all that stuff. This quiet, this silence, this calm feels like the proverbial calm before the storm.